Live from a water-damaged basement in Prince George's County, Maryland. It's another edition, another episode of one of our social distancing concerts. How are you doing? How was your last week? Uh, did you did you break down on the inside a little bit this week? Week number 9 of the pandemic and the shutdown. Did you get so desperate that you went and bought a barbecue smoker on the internet? And did that smoker arrive for you yesterday? And did you have just pounds and pounds of ribs on the grill before your children even got out of bed this morning? Because that's how I'm dealing with my emotions. Little window into what's been up with me. It was a weird week, and I solved it by just cooking a bunch of pig flesh today, and I feel a lot better. I'm cool. I could go another 9 weeks at this point. I'm fired up. I feel very good. So I hope you're doing well out there today. I'm going to play a strange little album of mine called In the Meantime. And the reason I call it strange is it almost feels like the redheaded stepchild of all my albums. I had my first album that came out was an EP called Nation of Heat. And then the first proper full-length album was Messenger. And I've played both of those for you. But there was a long space of time in between those two albums. And we wanted to get something out before the proper album came out. So we decided to take some of the quote unquote B-sides from the Nation of Heat sessions that we had done and string them into an album. And that's what we tried to do. And, you know, the only place that this came out as a companion album was in Australia, actually. When we first released Nation of Heat down there, it was Nation of Heat on one side and In the Meantime on the other. And this is a strange album for me. I like it a lot. Going back and playing it this week, there's a few lyrical choices that I wish 22-year-old me had not made, but that's life. You know, what are you going to do? And I had some distinct memories of making this album when we did. I can literally remember being in the booth at Chicago in between takes and thinking to myself, like, man, I can't wait 10 years down the road when I can actually play my instrument and when I can actually sing and I can actually do what I'm trying to do. And just feeling so limited at the time. And then this ended up being one of the albums that connected most with people. So my point is, you never know. You never know what's going to connect and what's not going to. So let's do it. We're going to play In the Meantime in its entirety. We're going to take some questions. We're going to have time for requests. We're going to have Soft Boy Poem Corner, and we're going to have a special guest. So let's get to it. Here's the first track off of In the Meantime. See that sunset down. Don't leave the avenue. See that boy walk into town. Watch him leave on through. I've been running, I've been ducking, I've been dodging the wind. I've been running, I've been ducking, I've been dodging the wind. Every city I found, every place that I get tries to blow me around. They ain't blown me down yet. I've been running, I've been ducking, I've been dodging the wind. Call that boy by his name. Smile as he turns and he waves. Don't you shed a tear as he walks away from here. He can come, but he ain't going to stay. I've been running, I've been ducking, I've been dodging the wind. I've been running,
I've been ducking, I've been dodging the wind. Every city I found, every place that I get tries to blow me around. They ain't blown me down yet. I've been running, I've been ducking, I've been dodging the wind. By the window, look at the moon. Winter is coming on soon. When you think of the kid who left when he did, he too will be thinking of you. I've been running, I've been ducking, I've been dodging the wind. I've been running, I've been ducking, I've been dodging the wind. Every city I found, every place that I get tries to blow me around. They ain't blown me down yet. I've been running, I've been ducking, I've been dodging the wind. I've been running, I've been ducking, I've been dodging the wind. Thank you. Missed my harmonica there at the end. What are you going to do? Yeah, that's the first track off of In the Meantime, the redheaded stepchild of all my records. I'm going to play for you now. This is the title track on the album. For my money, this is probably the best song on the album. But hey, to each their own. And this is a dark one. But the best ones always are, in my estimation. I've been saving every nickel and half of every dime. I'm washing all the blankets. God knows that I'm trying. I fixed the gate. We will find each other, so they say. In the meantime, I'm lonesome while I wait. Now I'm lying to my family for who I'm thinking about. I had another woman, somehow she found out, she always knew. We'll be honest with each other, me and you. In the meantime, I'll break a heart or two. Now I'm selling saws and hammers for half of what they're worth. I'm dreaming for a living, I got no time for work, it's getting hard. One day we will never be apart. In the meantime, I'm wondering where you are. Now I'm burning sheets of plywood I pried up off the floor. The house is out of lumber. At least for now I'm warm. For now We'll be warm beneath the Carolina moon. In the meantime, I should find another room. Now I'm drinking from the faucet. I'm lucky when I sleep. I'm sleeping in the closet. I'm scared of the police. What should I do? One day you will be my reason to. In the meantime, I'll just be passing through.
There you got it, the title track right there. Where is everybody watching from tonight? I always like to find out. Tell me down there in the comments. We'll see where you're tuning in from. Hello from Luray, Virginia. Okay, you guys just listened to my Windfall CD. CD, you guys got to get with the times, man. This is you got to stream it or do some vinyl, man. CD. I'm worried about you. Okay, Walter's in Iowa City. Catherine is in, wow, a town with a totally effed up name. Asheville, Melbourne, Australia. All right. Brian's in Buffalo, New York. I was just there. I miss it already. Portland. Right on. I see you, Kristen. Austin, Texas. Man, no. Austin is not home for me for sure, but it was home for a long time. I liked Austin. I miss it. I miss the chow. I live in kind of a food desert. Prince George's County, wonderful place. Not exactly known for its cuisine. You're in Los Angeles. Oh man, Madison, Denver. All right. Well, I'm glad you guys are all tuning in tonight, man. So glad. It always. Oh wow. Christchurch. There we go. All right. Okay, let's play a few tunes. Thanks so much for everybody for tuning in all over the place. I'm just at home all day changing the diapers of my two kids, and if I didn't have the opportunity to play for everybody, I'd be going pretty insane right about now. So thank you very much for turning out for all these concerts. I always appreciate it. Here's a song, third song on this record. This one I usually play in concert quite a bit because it's I have so few songs that are like up-tempo songs. I have like 3 songs that are up-tempo songs, so I have to really I have to space them out throughout the set big time to make it work. And this is kind of an up-tempo song, so we usually play it.
Who's that by your front door? By first light and last? Who's that man, heart in hand, sleeping in your grass? In a coat of young frustration, with unfed appetite. Lock the door, Christina, I'm standing on your porch tonight. who's up by your front door. We all thought he died. Who's that man knee deep in sand, waiting on the tide? With an atlas and a ladder, undaunted by the hide. Lock the door, Christina, I'm standing on your porch tonight. Who else ever cared? Who else ever tried? Who's that man come to stand right by your crying side? With convictions I can pay for and habits I can fight. Lock the door, Christina, I'm standing on your porch tonight. Are destined to misuse you, determined to do you right. Lock the door, Christina. Lock the door, Christina. Better lock your door, Christina. I'm standing on your porch tonight. There you have it. One of the only up-tempo songs in my catalog. Thank God for it. I don't know how I get through gigs without it. Let me make sure my sound isn't messed up, that no one's texted me and said it sounds like trash. No one has yet, so that's good. And let me text our special guest and tell him that we're ready. Here we go. So our special guest tonight is the person that helped me make Nation of Heat. He recorded it, most of it, at Rax Tracks in Chicago in the dead of night. And he also helped me obviously record this album as well, because this album was kind of part and parcel. And he's also a great songwriter, and he's also a really good friend of mine. So please welcome to our social distancing concert, my good friend, Jeremy Miller. Miller.
How we doing?
Dude, I'm better than I deserve, to be completely honest. How you doing?
I'm doing really well, Joe. The sound is good. It sounds good out here.
Okay, good. Well, I'll take your word for it, engineer
Okay.
that you are.
Yes, thank you.
So how did you end up in Chicago engineering at Rax Tracks? You went to school for engineering for a little bit, right?
Yeah, I went to a school out in Phoenix, Arizona called the Conservatory of Recording Arts in 2005. And my wife, Becca, we lived there for a year before moving to Chicago in the summer of 2005. And I moved there with an internship already in place at Rax Tracks. And just where we met you and stayed for about a year with Rax Tracks before moving on.
Do internships at recording studios even exist anymore? Is that a thing that happens?
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say in the bigger studios for sure. There's still got to be some hungry kids out there doing that road.
But definitely like the Rax Tracks level studio, it doesn't seem like, feels like that kind of middle class has kind of been squeezed out of the whole business.
It may have been. Rax Tracks was an interesting case at that time. The owner, the sweetest man, Rick Barnes, he took all the interns, and there must have been 20 interns. I don't know what it's like in other studios, but there were just a mass of us. Really good place to hang out there.
No, really. I one of the things I remember the most is I was always waiting in the lobby for you in case one of the paying clients, didn't show up or something like that. And my favorite part is all the paying clients. It always seemed like they didn't want to be in the studio cutting. They wanted to be in the lounge, calling people and just telling them, "No, I can't do that right now. I'm at the studio."
I'm in the studio. Sorry, I'm gonna have to get back to you. Yeah.
So before we get to your memories of us recording at Rax Tracks, tell me, what are your recollections of us, playing together in that open mic scene that we were in for those few years?
I I remember meeting you at the Uncommon Ground
Yeah.
in, I think, the winter of '06.
Hmm.
And that open mic in 2006, and maybe it can be said for 2016 as well, but it was a special thing.
Yeah.
It was always packed wall to wall every week. I think it was held on a Monday. And I remember they ran it like a competition to keep you coming back. And I remember the time, maybe the first time that we met and that I saw you sing, that you were given the most applause that evening and won the night.
And won the tips. It was like
Won the,
$50.
there we go, yeah, and a chance to come back and compete
Yeah.
at, like, the following one.
Or like they had some sort of semifinal. I got smoked in it. The,
Well, that's what you were talking about earlier, when it turns out we like couldn't actually like play the guitars.
I know, man.
The songs were always there, but there was some hot licks going on at that open mic from what I remember.
Yeah, no, I could barely work it. And then, what do you remember of? We eventually ended up moving that whole scene over to that place, Lily's.
Lily's.
What do you remember from there?
Lily's on Lincoln. I remember finding Lily's open mic in the Reader,
Yeah.
Chicago's local and independent newspaper, back when they still listed things like open mics.
Yeah.
And I remember going in very early with you, and there only being one person in that bar, and that was Tom Schrader.
Yeah, Tom.
Tom Schrader, who was very welcoming, invited us right in, said, "You guys are here for the open mic. That's great. You're songwriters. You want a show? I'll give you a show." And yeah, and we just commenced having a good time at Lily's for, I don't know how long, 6 months to a year.
I don't know how it lasted that long because Tom was the bartender, and I never bought a drink the entire time. He gave away the bar every night, man.
That's probably why it was short-lived. I mean, as most good things are,
Yeah. And then we got together, we would play a bunch of shows together and stuff like that. What do you remember from the sessions that ended up becoming Nation of Heat in the meantime?
I also remember having the same feeling that you talked about earlier, wondering where these songs would go and what they would sound like in the years to come. And here we are 15 years later from that.
Yeah.
And I can still think back and remember those nights in the booth, you cutting the songs and me pretending to know what the gear was doing to the sounds. I remember microphones this big,
Yeah.
and I just remember feeling like the king of the studio. That was it, man. We were doing something real, and it turns out it really was. It had some real staying power.
We were doing it, man. When I moved to Chicago, that's exactly what I imagined, making a record would be like, and that's exactly what it was. And I've had a lot of fun making other records, and there's something to be said for that. But nothing will be like that first one, where it really felt like we were taking on the world by storm, man.
Absolutely, and we were,
We were. Well, brother, thanks for stopping on for a little bit to chat with us. I hope you guys are well in
Thank
Chicago.
you, Joe.
You are well
Thank you.
in Chicago?
We are well here in Chicago, yeah. I want to give a shout out to the Hideout. We're still standing strong.
Indeed, yeah. We'll let folks know. I mean, you run sound and work at the Hideout sometimes, and let
That's
them know
correct.
what's going on with the
That's
Hideout.
correct. The Hideout is sheltering in place like the rest of the country. We are standing strong. The Hideout exists on Twitch. We've moved a lot of the programming onto Twitch, so the Hideout has a channel that can be viewed. I'm not sure if there are programs every night, but it wouldn't be hard to find out.
Hideout, definitely the best pound for pound venue in America.
Absolutely.
So, all right, brother. Well, it's good to see you, and
Great
I hope
to talk
we get to
with you,
talk
Joe.
soon. Okay,
Thank
brother.
you.
Peace.
All right.
There's my good friend Jeremy. It was really good to see him. Okay, here, let's play a song here off the record that I feel like this song is just a couple lyrics away from being a song that I play all the time. But there's a couple, like I was telling you earlier, you just write some things when you're 21 that when you get older, you think to yourself, man, I missed it. I would have phrased that one differently, but that's how it goes. It's called 1,000 Men. See Thomas Jefferson on the eve of Bunker Hill, writing words to die for, writing sentences to kill. They've come to paint his portrait, so he grabs a chair and sits as the surgeon orders cotton for 1,000 tourniquets. For God and country, for us and them, every good idea kills at least 1,000 men. At least 1,000 men. See the able-bodied Christian in a dark and savage land, telling all those who will listen, God was once a man. Through needles' eyes so narrow, he will lead them 4 by 4. He's got 900 shackles, he needs at least 100 more. 1,000 men, 1,000 men. Every good idea kills at least 1,000 men. At least 1,000 men. See the able-bodied student in his laboratory coat, whispering calculations like prayers stuck in his throat. Soon he will discover some flawless medicine, but right now he needs an oven that holds at least 1,000 men. Some are the means, some are the ends. Every good idea kills at least 1,000 men. At least 1,000 men. 1,001, 1,001. Every man I know thinks that he's 1,001. 900 died, his day is done. Every man I know thinks that he's 1,001. I know I'm 1,001.
Just a couple lyrics shy, in my opinion, but what are you going to do? Well, this is a really short album. I got one more tune from you for this one, and then I'd love to take some questions next. If you throw a few questions in the comment after this song, I'll rap with you, and then we'll do everyone's favorite part of the show, Soft Boy Poem Corner, and then we'll do some requests. So here's the last tune of In the Meantime. Not quite a novelty song, but not quite not a novelty song. So I never bust this one out and I never play it. But let's give it a try.
Black-eyed Susan, I ain't gonna look your way no more. Oh, black-eyed Susan, I ain't gonna look your way no more. Ain't no need to ask about it, baby, you know what I was looking for. Oh, your blue blood runs like it's got some important place to be. Oh, your blue blood runs like it's got some important place to be. You say that I'm important, baby, while your blood always running from me. When you look right through me, I wonder who's behind my back. Yeah, when you look right through me, I wonder who's behind my back. He sure don't say too much, honey, why you looking at someone like that? You got a miracle master, he is so naked and wise. I heard you got a miracle master, he is so naked and wise. Don't you feel so new with your old-time religion in disguise? Oh, I'm in love, and I don't know what it is I should do. Should I play my part and become another one of your foes? Or they call you the scene of the crime and they're collecting their clues. Yeah, they don't want to love you, baby, they'd rather make a riddle out of you. Well, the good Lord gave me peaches and the good Lord gave me bread. Yeah, well, the good Lord gave me peaches and the good Lord gave me bread. But the day he gave me you, Susan, I wish he would have rested instead. There you go. Just when I was in my early 20s, I had the Stones to just end an album with a semi-novelty song. And I think when I go full circle again, and I get confident enough to do that again, that's when you'll know that I've really made it. I've really arrived. Let's dive in and get some of your questions here in the comments. Boom. Okay. Keith Pisco asks, what advice would you give to an aspiring songwriter who feels their lyrics are too simple, basic? I can't get past words that are just so face value for what they are. Am I trying to think too much into it? Answer, yes, you're trying to think too much into it. Here's something interesting that we did on the last tour. There are these word synthesizers where you can basically take a piece of text and put it in to the synthesizer, and the algorithm will analyze it and it will tell you like what reading level it's on, okay? And we found the higher reading level that a song was on, like if it was, junior year of college, senior year of high school, like the higher it was, the more people hated that song. The less popular of a song it was. And we found that the lower the reading level, the more popular the song was. But the catch is, it doesn't take big words to get across very complex and nuanced ideas. And so we took the song of mine that is the most popular, which is a song called Hymn 101, and we put that in there. And even though that's a really wordy song, it came back, that song was written on like a 5th grade reading level. Like a 5th grader could read that song. But that song was dealing with like really complex, deep existential topics, but in language that a 5th grader could understand. So my answer to you would be, if you're already writing with simple words, then that is, you're like in good shape. You're in really good shape. I would try to talk about really complex and nuanced ideas with as simple as words as possible. Woody Guthrie said, any idiot can make something complicated. It takes a genius to make something simple. And so that's what I think you should strive for. Thank you for the question. Joey Gartner with the question of the hour. How did the ribs come out? Really well. I smoked them with hickory. I did about 4 hours of hickory smoke, and then I sauced them, put some butter on them, wrapped them in the Texas crutch, which is tin foil, put them back in for another 2 hours. My only complaint is that they were actually, and this isn't like a humble brag or something like that, but they were actually too much fall off the bone. So I learned tonight that there can be a really happy medium between, you definitely want it to fall off the bone, but you don't want it to completely fall off the bone like when you cut in between the ribs, because you still want to be able to bite off the ribs. So I learned a lot today about cooking ribs, and next time I think I'm going to put them back on the grill with the Texas crutch for a little bit shorter. Thanks for asking, Joey. That's always what I want to talk about anyway. So, oh, see, someone knows what we were talking about. Yeah, the tool you're talking about is called the Fog Index. Supposedly, most accessible writing is between 6th grade and 8th grade level. Thank you, Freda. See, I wasn't lying to you guys. Freda's holding it down. Um, um, let's see. Rick, will loud shameless singing help me? No, you're screwed, Rick. Best venue or city to play? I have a soft spot for Chicago because I got my start playing in Chicago. And when you talk about venues, you can't really talk about, it's kind of like boxers. Like you got to go weight class. You can't compare like 100-person venue to like 1,000-person venue. So in Chicago, the best super big room there is a place called Thalia Hall, which is beautiful and which is run really well. But pound for pound, it's a smaller club. The best club is a place called the Hideout, and Jeremy was just name checking that a little bit earlier. And it's just a wonderful club. It's back in this industrial district. If you ever visit Chicago, once this pandemic is over, go to the Hideout, take an Uber over there. It's in this industrial district. Your Uber will be like 2 blocks away, and you'll be thinking to yourself, this can't be right. And then you pull around a corner, and you see this old style beer sign, and that's your spot. And you go in, and whoever they have playing, it's one of those classic venues where they have bar in front, and then you go through like a little walkway, and you get to the back, and the venue's in the back. And so people who want to drink and talk can stay out in the bar and drink and talk, which is awesome. And the people who really want to listen to the show can go in the back and actually listen to the show. So if you ever visit Chicago, once the pandemic is over, you got to visit the Hideout. It's a great place. I'm just going to do a few more questions here, and then I'm going to do a soft boy poem corner. Let's see. There was a big question here that looked like an in-depth one that I wanted to answer. Where'd it go? Here, this is a good question. Alex asks, how do you approach creating a show with a full band creating a solo show? Well, the main difference is the solo show is really hard to pull off for a headliner. It's almost impossible to watch, if I can be crass, it's almost impossible to just watch a white dude with an acoustic guitar for an hour. Like that's messed up. That's a messed up thing to ask people to do. It's just too much. So when I'm putting together a show like that, I like to do different instruments. I like to play on different parts of the stage. That was something that I noticed, Tallest Man on Earth. I saw a couple of his shows when my buddy Tim was opening for him, and he was so good about using the whole stage, and I was like, oh man, that's definitely something I can rip off right there. So I try to use the whole stage. I try to have it be pretty succinct. I think between 60 and 75 minutes is what a solo show can stand. Obviously, if you're with a band, you can stretch out a little bit more because, you can have different solos. You can have different points of interest. You can have big band arrangements and then a solo portion of the show. But it's really hard to pull off a solo show for an extended period of time. And I've thought a lot about it. And also, you got to work on your comedy stylings, man. I'm not going to lie. That's a big part of it. Okay, well, thanks for all your questions. I'm going to do a soft boy poem corner here. And then after the soft boy poem corner, I'm going to take a few requests and then call it a night. So toss your requests in there below while we do the old soft boy poem corner here. Boom. America's favorite segment. Here we go. This is a beautiful poem by Philip Levine entitled You Can Have It. My brother comes home from work and climbs the stairs to our room. I can hear the bed groan and his shoes drop one by one. You can have it, he says.
The moonlight streams in the window, and his unshaven face is whitened like the face of the moon. He will sleep long afternoon and waken to find me gone. 30 years will pass before I remember that moment when suddenly I knew each man has one brother who dies when he sleeps and sleeps when he rises to face this life, and that together they are only one man, sharing a heart that always labors, hands yellowed and cracked, a mouth that gasps for breath and asks, "Am I going to make it?" All night at the ice plant, he had fed the chute its silvery blocks, and then I stacked cases of orange soda for the children of Kentucky, one gray boxcar at a time, with always two more waiting. We were 20 for such a short time, and always in the wrong clothes, crusted with dirt and sweat. I think now we were never 20. In 1948, the city of Detroit, founded by De La Moth Cadillac for the distant purposes of Henry Ford, no one wakened or died. No one walked the streets or stoked a furnace, for there was no such year. And now that year has fallen off all the old newspapers, calendars, doctor's appointments, bonds, wedding certificates, driver's licenses. The city slept. The snow turned to ice. The ice to standing pools or rivers racing in the gutters. Then bright grass rose between the thousands of cracked squares, and that grass died. I give you back 1948. I give you all the years from then to the coming one. Give me back the moon with all its frail light falling across a face. Give me back my young brother, hard and furious, with wide shoulders and a curse for God, burning in burning eyes that look upon all creation and say, "You can have it." Well, if you can write something like that, you're in good shape, you guys. That's a beautiful poem. If you haven't read Philip Levine's other work, you should go do that. He has a couple, I don't know if it's an anthology or an actually a work, just a collection itself, but I think it's called Working. Could be wrong, but Philip Levine, he's the way to go. Okay, what song should I play before we get out of here tonight? Let's take a look. Boom. Okay, Brian, I never played this song, so I'll play it for you now. That's a good one, man. Nobody's mad. Beneath the trees of the Casbah, beneath the roots of those trees, on the casket floor, the bottom of me feels so complete. And around my childhood museums, there stand Chinese guards. One of them has a bell, one of them has a bell that he rings when I come too close or leave too far. You might say that it's reckless, you might say that it's wild, but I'd rather be nobody's man than somebody's child. Now there's splinters in my fingers, and there's Portland cement in my lungs. I got a hammer and a cough, I got a hammer and a cough, and all of my friends begin foreign tongues. There's an ugliness grown up inside me. From where it has come, I don't know. I left my sweet
sweetness beside my sweetness beside that girl I could buy long ago. They might find my body at the bottom of the pile, but I'd rather be nobody's man than somebody's child. Such plans they have, such gods they have, deep in this nation of heat. We've been outdone again, we've been outdone again, and all of my friends, they walk on their feet. And the Congress of jackals will put a tax on my smile, but I'd rather be nobody's man than somebody's child. I might move to Las Vegas, live there for a while, 'cause I'd rather be nobody's. Yes, I'd rather be nobody's man than somebody's child.
Thank you for the request, Brian. What else you guys want to hear? Okay, Lee Matthews wants to hear How Good You Are. We can do that. I got you covered, Lee. No problem. I'm so happy you guys are here. Thanks for being here tonight. As always, I really appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for kicking in a few bucks. Those of you who got it, when you do, I appreciate it very much. This one is for... Oh, I didn't mean to put that on screen. Whoops. But thanks for the compliment, Sean. I appreciate that. It'd be kind of dark if that was just kind of my move, just clicking on comments that were really complimentary and then afterwards claiming that it was all just a grand mistake. Pretty self-aggrandizing. Let's hope that wasn't the case. All right, I think it was Lee that requested this one. I was born into a circus, but I ran off to join a home. Oh, they said that I was worthless, that my family died unknown. So it gets and so it goes, that's what you get, I suppose. It wasn't something more than a life of walking roads. All the Christians left behind at the crossroads of your town. Oh, they're playing truth or dare neath the sanctuary now. Some wish they had the truth, some wish they had to go. But there ain't no sense in leaving from the only game you know. I know how good you are, how hard it is, how good you are.
There's a butler in your hallway. He is troublesome and old. He repeats the word alive to describe your family gold. You ask him please to go, but there's one thing you don't know. He carved April 7th, 65 into the side of your piano. Oh, I know how good you are, how hard it is, how good you are. Everything that you were meant for, everything that you were born to do, does not need you to do it. Someone else was born to do it too. And like a half-grown man, you barely learn how to stand. If you shut up with what you're chosen, you'll hear something choosing you. Oh, I know how good you are, how hard it is, how good you are.
Boom. That's for you, Lee. Let's see what else you guys want. I keep on promising to learn Downbound Train. I just won't do it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to learn it one of these weeks. I promise. Oh, yeah, man. I haven't played this song in a minute. Andrew over on YouTube would like to hear Pair of Shadows. You got it, brother. You got it.
They're going to make a shadow out of me. Well, I guess I'll be the shadow of that post oak tree in the forest by your house where we used to meet. If they're going to make a shadow out of me, if they're going to make a shadow out of you, well, I hope to catch the briefest glimpse as you go passing through, as the shadow of the Lincoln we drove to school. If they're going to make a shadow out of you, lines will disappear as we grow darker, darker than we planned for at the start. The light of morning will get even farther until at last you can't tell us apart. So if they're going to make a shadow out of us, casting downward to the valley from an Appalachian bluff, I was born, then I loved you. I guess that was enough. if they're going to make a shadow out of us, if they're going to make a shadow out of us. Right on. All right, I want to do one more tune. Let's see what you guys want to hear. Let's see. Okay. All right, I'm going to do yeah, Nicholas, you got it. I do my father's drugs. Thanks for being here for another social distancing concert. I appreciate it. Maybe next week I'll have learned Downbound Train again for the people. It's that really has pretty much become the Freebird of these social distancing concerts. So maybe I'll learn it. Tune in next week to see. I'm going to play this tune here for you. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for spreading the word. If you can kick in $1 or $2 to buy a virtual ticket or to the virtual tip jar, I always appreciate it. And I'm going to leave you with this one for this week. When the party starts on Monday, and Christmas starts in June, when no one minds, I just arrived and I'll be leaving soon. If I return with eyes half open, don't ask me where I was. I do my father's drugs. When every revolution, it's sponsored by the state. There's no bravery in bayonets in tearing down the gates. If you see me with a rifle, don't ask me what it's for. I fight my father's wars. When hunger strikes on fashion and freedom is routine, when all the streets in Cleveland are named for Martin Luther King, you will see me at the protest, but you'll notice that I drag, I burn my father's flag. So when the party starts on Monday and Christmas starts in June, when no one minds, I just arrived and I'll be leaving soon. If I return with eyes half open, don't ask me where I was. I do my father's drugs. I do my father's drugs.
Social distancing concert number 9 comes to an end. I'll see you this time next week from a very heavily water damaged basement in Prince George's County, Maryland. Thanks for being here for this. I really appreciate it. I love playing for you. And I will see you next time that you drop by. Peace. Thanks, guys.